Hello everyone, Kenti Tiger here with Bengali Engineering and Play. We are back in Space Engineers for yet another intermediate interim episode for the survival series. First survival series, I guess. Eventually I'll probably do more. So I know there's a long delay here in loading, but I wanted to do this anyway just so I could show you what we added in. So we talked about better stone before. I went ahead and added that in. Now there's a reason I'm doing that, and I will probably not do this on screen. I'll probably end up doing it off screen. But one of the admin helper commands is to actually search for and map ore. It actually, you can set any distance. It is extremely CPU intensive. If you were to do this on a planet, it would probably lock up the game. So very CPU intensive, but you can go out to any really distance you want, and then it creates GPS points for the ore. So anyway, I've not tried this in a long time, so I don't know how effective it is. I know there's a couple commands that no longer work. So anyway, so Better Stone is in. One of the things that I'm thinking was a good idea is transporters. Now, if you haven't played with this mod, this is a lot of fun. But the transporter mod in this case, I mean, it's straight out of Star Trek. Obviously, it looks a little different, but the concept is there. So Stargate, Star Trek transporter, it's all just a mechanism of getting from point A to point B. So that's what these are. And I found these to be really simple to work with, but I figured as long as there's the station out there, then there's the shipyard station, which I could put a transporter on, and then this station, then conceivably you could transport back and forth between the two. If I get a base on the planet, which I do eventually want to do, and then on the moon, then we have all of these transporters interconnected, and you can literally transport from place to place. So that's the intention. So transporters. So here's the retractable tunnel by Sectan. Okay. So that is the piece that I need in that end. And signs. Why do I want signs? Well, signs are very useful things. So to add these back into the world, and they're really kind of low lag. They don't really cause any problems, and they just load in and go. So I haven't seen a huge load time increase when I have these on, and I don't know that I need them right now, but eventually I'll need them. So it's kind of nice to have the ability to put signs up. So anyway, that's the 5 that we added on here. So it should be a lot of fun. So one of the things I'm going to do is go through and delete all the GPSs, the GPS that listed ore. I'm going to get rid of all those because they're actually not really applicable anymore. All of those are 500 to 700 kilometers away from here. So because we totally changed locations, they're really not applicable anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and delete those. So anyway, those were the 5 that we added in. We've got a lot of other stuff that we could do. The build info is actually really neat to use. I don't know that we'll need ladders, but ladders is really neat. This is also by Digi, or I think this version is by Digi. There was another version out there that wasn't quite so good, but I think this is Digi's version. So without further ado, so mods advanced was the same, and I said eventually I want to go ahead and shift into the normal meteor showers, but we won't do that right now because we're just building. So this is totally out of character. Alright, so Kenti Survival Series and load. So obviously this will take a minute, and I will be right back while it's loading. Alright, here we are in the world. So, let's see. So we got a lot of... So I added these back in. These were broken for a little while, and I don't know if they're working again or not. I actually really like these doors. And one of the reasons I like the doors is because you can see through them. So these are really cool. Now, one of the things I might put some time into... yeah, why not? So we'll kill both of these doors, and we'll put these guys in. If I have any complaints about these particular doors at all, it's that if you remember the Darth Maul biomech door, it slides out to the outside. It's actually 5 wide, but the outer 2 are, I mean, they're there, but they're not there. They actually, the collision box is only 3 wide. So that's why it could fit into this 3x2 square, even though it's 2x5. It's the frame where those doors slide into. And I don't know if that was a requirement, because I don't know about modeling and everything, how the modeling and everything works in the game. But there are actually 4 control pads on the Darth Biomech door. So there's one on each side of the door, on each face of the door. So both sides of the door, you have 2. One on the right, one on the left. So I like it better. In this case, this door only has the one, and it's only on the right side, and then there's only one on the right side on this side. The other thing about this door, let's see if these are working. Yes, they are. Is they roll up, and you'll see it come out the roof. There it is. So when these are open, they look kind of different. So let me go ahead and rename this. So this is airtight door, and this is dock airlock inner. Tunnel inner, so those go into large gates. Save off. And we'll go ahead and close this guy. So this is connector dock 1A, dock 1B. Now, why did I name those dock 1? Well, this is an asteroid base, so it is conceivable that at some point there may be another entrance. There could actually be a large entrance, you know, for like a hangar bay entrance type of thing. So, I mean, we could do a lot of different things with the base here. All right, so this is dock connectors, which is following along dock 1 connectors, and that's obviously a group, and terminal off. So this now becomes the lock and unlock for the pair, which is why I put that into. Alright, so this is, we're going to change this now. We're going to change up all this stuff to dock 1. So this is dock 1 airlock, dock 1 tunnel 1, dock 1 tunnel 2. So air vents go up in air vents. Get rid of those, and we'll keep that for right now. Alright, so this right here is why I like these doors, because you can see through them. So it just, I mean, imagine you're standing, and let's take it even a step further, and we don't even have to imagine, we're just going to do it. So I may actually put something on the ground in here. So closing the door. So I am space engineer. My ship, or you know, a ship is coming in for dock, and I'm standing on the other side of the airlock, and I can watch everything happen because I have windows. I can see through everything with the airlock doors closed. So another option, just for sake of babble, is it's called Oxygen Lockdown. It's a script by M. Master. Morphologist actually did a video on it which explains somewhat about it, actually has M. Master talking about it a little bit. And it's another one of those really incredible scripts. I have no idea how he does it all. I'm just not that good of a programmer. Never was. Okay, so that's why. Let's turn T off because it just really doesn't work. All right, we'll put that there, and this is the outer door, which we'll call it outer. So airtight door will go dock 1 airlock outer. Alright, and now we have doors airtight need to be on the toolbar, and we can take them off the world. There they are. And we could actually do the same thing here. So doors, airlock, and take those off the world. Alright, so we're going to do the, yep, that's what I thought. Change ownership. Alright, and let's go back into the G bar and retractable tunnels. So we have tunnel 1, 2, and I think it's actually a 1 that expands out. And maybe not. Let's try the 2. So the trick is understanding exactly how this thing fits into the world here. Maybe why I did this the way I did. There we go. Get out of the way here. All right. Nope, that's upside down. That's wrong. So let us fix it. That was in slot number 7. Alright, so now that lines up with the bottom of the door here. So even though this door isn't ideal for this whole thing. Alright, and sneak in here. It's going to be a little hard to see what this thing does. So tunnel. I guess we'll just call it tunnel for right now. So change that to me and open. So yeah, I did need the 1. So here's obviously what this looks like. So yeah, let me get the 1 on here, the number 1 tunnel instead of the number 2. So we'll go ahead and delete this one and then focus on getting this one put in. There it is. And then we'll do the same thing again. We'll extend it out, and you'll get to kind of see. Okay, tunnel open. We're actually closed. So imagine, if you will, the ship is connected onto these, so there's a slight gap because the connectors don't butt directly up against one another. There is a little bit of gap here, and then you roll this thing out, and now you can literally walk right out the door of that ship into this ship. Now here's one of the interesting things that I've discovered. Now I like these tunnels. I like the way they look. I like the way they function. But observe, if you will, I'm going to open this door. Now, keeping in mind, this is open to space. My door is open. I'm open to space, but I am still pressurized. So here's one of the interesting things about these tunnels. And you can see I am high oxygen right up until I get outside of the tunnel. And now I'm high oxygen again. So it's kind of one of those quirky things that sometimes you have to use your imagination. So this is automatically a pressurized zone even though it is open to space. So that's one of those kind of strange things. So you just have to press the I believe button and move on. So anyway, this is how I build my docking area, and I like it because it gives you that flexibility. It has this neat little tunnel here, and again, Sec 10 tunnel, retractable tunnel it's called. Pardon me. So the dock is done. So the only thing that may or may not be something we'll want to do, so we'll go ahead and close the door. Actually, we'll go ahead and retract the tunnel as well. So open. Now, something that I have done in the past. Sorry, I did not want to do that. I wanted to do a G back to my 8 bar and buttons. So button panel, and then so we can either put it up there or down here or back there. I think I like it there. Alright, so this is dock 1, tack 2. That belongs to me. This is button panel dock 1, tack 1. Also belongs to me. Could have saved myself and just done a global, couldn't I? Alright, so what is the number 1 is going to do here? So in the typical fashion of groups, so it's my dock 1 connectors switch lock and dock 1 connectors on off. Okay, so they are unlocked and on at this point. And blocks. Tunnel. Open, closed. And then we'll actually do that same thing on the other side with the buttons reversed, in fact. So this one will actually be here, which is open, close, and then we go to groups and connectors, and this one is a switch lock. This one is an on-off. So why did I do that? Because I wanted them to be symmetrical. That way you don't have to wonder, wow, what is this button over here? It's the same on both sides. So the one closest to the connector is your switch lock. The one next closest is your on-off. So dock 1 connectors. And then this one is your retract. Can't really see it, but there it is. Alright, so we're done with the dock. Now we are going to come up with an idea on how we're going to put the landing pads on. So first thing to do here is so number 1, we're going to put on the inverted corner for the armor block here. And is that really right? No, it's not. That's why things are a bit off. All right, so let's we'll put this one in. And that one is actually going to be, well, actually we're gonna fix that in a second. Alright, so we are going to correct this. There we go. That looks a little better. Alright, now here is the issue. Let's do inverted corner, so we're gonna do this. Take that one out. Alright, here's what we're going to do. So, I'm going to turn on mirroring. And the reason I'm going to turn on mirroring, I'm going to try and turn on mirroring. There we go. Alright. The reason I'm going to turn on mirroring is because I want to build both landing pads at the same time. And I like mirroring. Now, keeping in mind that mirroring normally only works in creative mode. I have Space Master turned on, so I'm in survival. You can see I'm losing oxygen, I'm losing hydrogen as I go around. I have 0 power just because now that power is for your tools, you don't die because you run out of power. So now your suit basically has infinite power, but you can run out of oxygen and hydrogen. So I just, keep going. Okay, so here's here's the challenge. What do we want to do with these landing pads? Do I want total flexibility on the landing pads, which means I have all 3 of my connectors, or are they a little less flexible and I only have the supply? And that's really up to you, how you would normally build. I like having all 3 of them out there, but in this case, what's the practical? Do I really need to have the fuel ice out there? And the answer is probably no. But because conceivably these are going to be for like a mining craft or something like that, then having the pull-in connector would actually be a really good idea. So in this case, I think I'm going to put 2 of them out there, which means I'm going to have to change up this thing. Do I want to go closer in on this side or closer in on the other side? And I think I'm going to go closer on this side. Alright, so here's what we got. We're going to have 2 systems going out here, which is going to be our green and our red. So let me change this and we'll put red. Okay, so both of those are going to go out and we'll have a connector for both of those. So the next question is, how do we connect these on? And this is actually pretty simple. I'm going to put a T in and we're going to go out with it. Now, one of the things you can see pretty obviously is that because this is in the center, then this one goes out to here. But how about this one? Because this one's here, I could technically do a straight through on this side with a T. So I'm going to turn off mirroring for a minute because now I'm going to be really symmetrical side to side. Now the other side is, do you want it to look symmetrical? and I tend to, so what I think I'm going to do is actually leave it like this. Let me grab my T, which is this one, and we'll put the T in. And at the same time, we're going to reverse. And then this one becomes an elbow, like this. And then this comes across with another elbow right there. Breathing. All right. And identically, but one block over, we have 6, which we're going to turn. So this connects in like this. Then we flip this T and spin it. And then we go back to the straight throughs. In fact, let me go ahead and put the ones on the end. So we'll reverse that there. We'll reverse that there. And then number 4 there, and then number 4 there. So straight through. All right, and some of these turned green, which is nice. So now we are connected onto that there. All right. Think of what we can do here that will make this no, we don't really have anything we can do. Let's go back to our dark gray, the one. Oops. So we can either do this and have this blocky thing out here, which I think works, and then, all right, let's try this again. All right, corner. And we will put the corner there and the corner here, and then we have a slope. We'll go there and there, and a slope which goes here and here. All right, so normally I don't like these sharp corners, but there's not really anything I can do unless I put a slope onto these. So here's the option. So let's change to red again, and number 3, delete, and slope. So that is an option. Let me change to the green, delete that one, and a slope. So now we have slope. I think I can live with that. I have no idea how that happened. Back to our gray. That is really strange. Really strange. Alright, so just because I like things to be reasonably protected, so we're going to put catwalk plates, and I like them to line up, so I'm going to do that direction, and then we'll run the plates out to there. Because even though these are armored conveyors, they're not. Oh, darn it. Oh, drat. I can't believe I did that. Alright, so I totally screwed this thing up because I punched the middle mouse button instead of the button that I wanted. So that one is. And then change red again. Alright, and then the gray plate goes over the top, which is that. Get the right frickin' button. Alright, and then, oops. Okay, and I'm good with that. So here's what I want to do here. So these are the ship dock connectors, and what I'm gonna do, it's gonna seem a bit redundant, and it kind of is, but we're gonna run all three of the connectors right straight out here. So here's how we're going to do that. Let's do, it's a number 4. I'm going to turn that sideways, and the one in the center here is the green, so we'll do a green and a green. Then we will do the blue and the blue, and then the red and the red. And just like we did in this other area, we're going to do the slope. So there's the slope there, there's the slope there, and there's the slope here. And to kind of protect all this stuff in, then we will put, let's go back to our gray. So we have a slope there, and we have a slope there, and then we have an armor, sorry, corners. I should have said corner. Now, one of the things that we can do just to make this look a little nicer, to also protect these corners, which is really to say these connectors, then we will, so let me get connectors here, so changing colors. So connector turn mirroring off because I don't need to do that. This becomes a green, and this becomes a blue. Alright, so now that those are built, then I'm actually going to name these. So in this case, this is Dock 1 pull in. This is Dock 1 supply, and this is Dock 1 fuel. How about if I spell fuel ice? Okay, now that we've done all that, let me go ahead and do the global thing again, so I steal ownership of everything, and is now connectors. And off and off. Alright. So, here's what we've done with our dock. So, a confusing number of connectors. So these two connectors are our shipboard connectors. So for our ships that have this style, this is, you know, my creation of docking methodologies, and I mean you could do just about anything. This ultimately replaced. So back up some history. I used to use just everywhere. Darth Biomech's docking ring. I loved it. It looks really neat, and it functioned basically like a merge block, like a giant merge block. And you could walk through the center of it. I mean, it just looked cool. And this is the frustrating thing that a lot of mod designers have run into, that as the game evolves, the way the scripting works, the way different devices work and function, break. And it's a good thing that the game changes because it's being updated. It's bad because these really awesome mods break, and then it's very frustrating for those mod owners, the mod authors, to go back through and have to fix them. And I have a reasonably simple mod myself that, no, it's not public, but I still, mine breaks. And then I have to go through and figure out, okay, what's wrong, how do I fix it, and then I get it fixed and it's working again until the next time it breaks. So for mod authors out there who have 15, 20 different mods, like Sectan, for example, like Digi, who's got a dozen mods out there, you know, or any number of other, you know, awesome creators out there. You know, one of them breaks, and so for me, I have one mod. So going through and fixing my one mod, even though I might have 4 or 5 different items in the mod that are broken, but I get them all fixed and then it's one mod. So what about the Digis, the Darth Biomechs, the Sectan, you know, who have a whole bunch of mods out there, and they have to go through every single one of them and fix them so they work again. It's very frustrating, and it's so anyway, the collision boxes with the so it was a 2x3 grid that was the Darth Biomech dock ring. And so I had mergeless conveyors out here that when the merge block, which is to say the docking ring, locked in, then those mergeless conveyors would also lock in. The problem is that the two sections of merge block interconnect. They crisscross each other and come in and lock. And the two mergeless conveyors on the outside, because the collision, and it really wasn't, it was how the collision domains were being interpreted, that I could no longer dock. So you could no longer dock because of the way this thing was designed. So I would literally have to remove these two mergeless conveyors and leave this space entirely open. because they interfered because this was a block, and this collision domain, because it was intermeshed, actually was hitting these and would not let the ship get in. It would not go. So it was extremely frustrating. I can imagine it was extremely frustrating for Darth Biomac as well, because there was nothing you could do about it. It just basically, it broke the thing, because, so if you have anything surrounding the docking ring, it no longer functioned because the docking ring had to intermesh with its counterpart, its pair. So anyway, I ended up changing to connectors, and it worked kind of just as well. It necessitated the use of this other means to fill this gap. Oh, sorry. Along with this quirky airtight, even though it's open to space, thing. So anyway, so that completes the end of the dock, short of I want to go ahead and put my covers here. All right, and then we're back to working on this. So let's get a slope, exactly what we want, and that looks like the right direction. And we'll turn mirroring back on. So the question is how far out do we go before we actually turn and go outboard from the center here? And I think 3 is plenty. So we will do the inverted corner. Oh, sorry, I can do the inverted corner here. I think that was the right direction. Yes, it was. So inverted corner here, and then do we go with symmetry, or do we end up with it a little off? And there's so corner, and we're back to slope. It looks like that's actually the right direction. So again, the corner here, how close do we get? And I think that's as close as we get. So let's go to corner, oops. So corner this way, then we change back to the slope, and then we come this way. So I think that was 4 blocks. It looks like 4 there. So let's do this side. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we do the corner, and then the slope again. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the question, how big do we want it? I would like it to be, so there is 7. I think that works. So let's go ahead and go over here. So that's 5, 6, and 7. Then we do the corner. And corner. And the slope. Which comes all the way to there. All right, and then we'll come up and have a look. So yes, I think that works. And because I have mirroring on, then you see them on both sides happening simultaneously, which is always a good thing. So let us continue bringing these in. So let's change color one more time. We'll spin that sideways. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we are going out to the center of this, which will be so there's 1, 2, and 3. Then we need a 5, which will become alright. There's nothing more frustrating. So, consistency. Orbits change. So the key mapping, which is to say the direction a cube will spin, changes. Okay? It's never the same. Why is it never the same? Because it's oriented on you as the player. Okay, where is my character? So because it is relative to my character, then the way this damn block spins around changes. Why the hell does it have to change? There's another WTFO. Why does it need to change? Leave it the hell alone. Then it always rotates the same way. Always. Now, having said that, I'm not a programmer anymore. I don't program. It's been a long time since I've programmed. I was pretty good at it once upon a time, but I think it is absurd to just introduce a variable for absolutely no reason. It makes sense to nobody that I know. It's frustrating to most every player that I have ever talked to. But I see it on the forums that, you know, why does rotation do that? You know, do it this way, and the only response I've ever heard back is, well, you can turn on that cheater thing that puts the rotation onto the screen for you, so you always know which way you're going to rotate by that little cheater on the screen. And yeah, okay, that's true. That's true. But how about if we just make it relative to nothing? So it is always the same. There is no variable. We remove the variable completely. It always rotates the same. Then you don't have to have a cheater because you just memorize which way the damn things are going. All right. So okay, I'm green. Okay, rant over. Green, and I think I'll go one more. Well, actually, so here's what we have to do to really make these things work. This is going to look really silly. And then we'll do the same thing over here. Now, why did I do that? Well, I'll explain that in just a minute. In fact, it will all make sense, and I won't have to explain it in just a minute. So there's that one, there's that one, and that one. Okay. Why did I do that? Here's why I did that. So, the connector is actually going to be flush in the pad. So then when they land, they can land directly on the pad and be ready to connect. So that's why I did that. That's why that goes all the way around and looks so silly. All right, let's add some reality here. I like for my pads to be white. And we're gonna change it to a block instead of that. All right, so here we go. And there we are. And then the only thing I need to do here is add on my armor plate. Uh-oh. Okay, I screwed up. I screwed up. No, that's okay. We can fix that easily enough. See, I put one piece in there. So let us fix this. Back to red, and we delete that. We delete that. We delete that, and we delete that. And we create a hole there because we're going to need that. And so that goes there. Number 5. That goes there. That goes there. That goes there, and then a straight through goes right there. All right, then we are back to being symmetrical. Yes, much better. Much better. Definitely not red. White. Oh, darn. Okay, and then those go like that. And then these actually are back to my gray, which are here. And we're in the window there. Oh, darn it. So we have the same kind of an issue right there. Okay. Yeah. The realities of I don't very often put these side things on here, but because I've got the windows here now, then it's makes it kind of weird. So we've got a couple options here. The real question is, do we deal with this on the inside or the outside? So what I had intended was putting plate down on the inside. The upside to plate on the inside is you kind of remove those colors, and the colors, I like the colors because I like things being correctly designated. Yeah, I know that's an OCD thing, but the other side is that it's very distracting because you just have all this color everywhere, and so what can we do? The one side you can't really notice, but that stark red right there is very noticeable, and the only thing we can do is either spin this window around, and if I spin the window around, then I now lose the ability to put plate on the inside. So it really depends on which way we're intending to go. The other side is because all of these windows are on the outside now, that will sacrifice my ability to have these windows where they are. So this one is still mounted here, which is good. But right now these are all connected all the way across, and then they have the fixed point mount here with these plates. So the plates are mounted against the block that's behind there, which ultimately the door connects onto as well. But the window butts up against the side of these, so this becomes a mount point, just like these blocks here are a mount point. So it's kind of one of those, might just have to live with it kind of a thing. And I'm not sure I like these plates on the outside either. I really don't, in fact. It's in Space Engineers, so you're in space. You can't fall and get hurt. There is no gravity here. Alright, so the thing we need to do here is decide what to name these pads, because then that becomes the name on these things. And I already called the airlock Moonside, so I think we'll follow through. Moonside pad, pull in. Kind of makes sense, right? Alright, so let's get our ownership all fixed globally all at once. Connector number 8, which then is Moonside pad supply. Okay, and we'll jump over here and do the same thing over here, and this is planet side. Because there's only one more connector, then it's pretty obvious what that one is. Let me see if I can capitalize here. Planet side, pad, pull in. Alright, so now that those are all named, I'm going to put those in the connector group. All the connectors need to be on the toolbar. Otherwise you can't really access any of them. But we do need to turn them off. So button panels, and let me take that one out. So the button panels do not need to be on the toolbar, but the tunnel does. And we're going to call this Systems Miscellaneous. And this is dock dock 1 tunnel. Alright, so Systems Miscellaneous, and turn those off. Alright, one more time, owner check. Alright, so what we could do is put some lights on here, or keep it as is. I think go ahead and do lights. I like blue. So, light. We're going to use these. And, There are some extremely frustrating things about this game that I find to just be absolutely stupid. The fact that certain blocks in the game spin on their own in random directions, even though, and then, so, for example, what is the purpose of the red box? So, the red box of the block that I'm trying to place means I can't place it there. The red box of, in this case, the one right under it, says that's what's going to be deleted if I right-click. Okay, here's the catch. If you look carefully, the reticle is actually pointing at a different block. So, if I delete, it's not the red block that says this is what will be deleted, it's the block under the reticle, which is different. Why the hell is it different? What is the purpose of the red block that says this is going to be deleted if that's not going to be deleted? Is it the reticle or is it the red block? Why is the red block there if that's not the block that's going to be deleted? The only game in the universe that is a building game that doesn't have an undo function. So it's these really stupid things that I don't know what the folks at Keen are thinking. Oh, excuse me, they're not thinking at all. They should be building, they should be building this shit into the game. It makes sense. Why wouldn't you put it in? But they never did. It's been one of my largest gripes since I started playing this, and I've got a few hours in this game. If you don't believe how many hours I have in this game, look me up on Steam. I am Kenti Bengali on Steam. You can look up my profile and you'll see how many hours I have on Space Engineers. And that's not counting, I play this game when I'm underway, and obviously I can't be connected to the world when I'm underway. So all of those hours are never accounted for. So I have like 3,400 something hours listed. In fact, I'm curious as hell. Space Engineers is 3596 as of right now, and that's the online hours. That's not counting the underway hours, which is hundreds of hours. I've done like 3-4 deployments with this game, so okay, back in here. So yes, I can get ranting about the problems with this game. Has it come a long ways in the more than 3 years that I've been playing this game? And the answer is yes. But there are still some very frustrating things that seem to be globally frustrating. I mean, it sounds like everybody is equally frustrated with these things. All right, so I'm going to landing pad lights, or maybe I should say lights. Landing pads. We'll do that. So we're going to take those off, and then we're going to go back to landing pad lights, and so we're going to turn that all the way off. We're going to turn this to 32, so we have this nice bright blue color, almost an obnoxious blue color. We're going to increase this radius out to how far? 20 meters. Let's do it to 15 meters. And fall off and intensity we're going to turn to 3.5. An awful lot of blue. But I like blue. Alright, so overall, running a bit longer than I had intended, but the dock and landing pads are done. So this is a good thing. This is basically, I think I've done everything I need to do. So this is kind of what Commander Kenti has done. So the only other thing that I could possibly do at this point is actually arm things. And what I may do to accomplish that is put two strips along here. So one below and one above. The question is, how many is too many? So my inclination actually would be to, so this is a 7 blocks wide. So let me grab the weapons. My weapons of choice are the same weapons that we have used in the past here. And I think I'm going to use them again. So, okay, so that's the laser turret, and I'm going to put I'm going to hope for the best here and hope these don't do something stupid. Looks like they didn't. Okay, good. That's exactly what I wanted. Alright, actually, we're going to do that and that, because I want more lasers than plasma. Plasma and plasma. Oh, I should have left it exactly as it was. Alright. Gotta fix it. Alright, so plasma, 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 plasma. And then this goes there. And then we'll do the same thing on the bottom. And we will actually turn off, these are the lasers, right? Yeah. Okay, so 1, 2, 4 plasmas, spin there and there, and lasers go there. And then we change it up here to there, and there. And then plasmas, which will go there, there, and there. Oops, and there. Alright. So, woe be any enemy who comes close, because they're going to be AFU. Alright, I see I see I have unfinished stuff, so let's do that. So the slope and slope. Okay, we need a corner now. So the corner there, and the corner, no, oops. See if I could do all of these simultaneously, and the answer is no. All right. Number 7 and number 2. So we're putting down, in this case, it's the catwalk plate underneath here. So here's a great physics question for you. The lights are on the top. So why are all these blocks blue? The light can somehow shine through the blocks and illuminate these blocks on the bottom. That's a neat trick. Alright, so that's done. So the only thing else I need to do is we'll go in here, and we now have turrets. So actually let's okay, select those. All belong to some safety precautions here. Toggle block off. Then we'll turn it to me. Alright. So I don't like idle movement on, and I think it should default to neutrals off, but it defaults to on. I mean, if it defaults to missiles off, why can't it default to neutrals off? So that's kind of one of those. I can't count the number of survival series that I've watched from people who, and everyone does it, I do it. You build the weapon, and because you're building, the second you get it welded up, because neutrals is on, then it starts blasting away at your own base. So, turrets, laser, save, toolbar, inventory, and terminal is off. Turrets, plasma, save, off, and then turrets laser. We're going to go out to the 800 because I want to be able to take things out before, or the second they're engaging with me, I want to be able to engage with them. Turning missiles on and neutrals off, which is exactly what I want. So these guys are engaging. Idle movement is off. These guys are not nearly as suited to missiles, and then neutrals off. Okay, so everything is set up well. Okay, final ownership check. We have all our groups set. we're good. So the only other thing, this is a little trick that I have learned over the course of time. So all of these, even though the idle movement is off, they're all pointed in these random, bizarre directions. There's a fix for that. Pick something, pick a color, any color, and paint them. And you notice that when you paint them, they go to their neutral position. Kind of neat, huh? Amazing what you learn. But it has to be a different color because it has to actually paint. Alright. And because mirroring was on, that helped me out a lot. And then we just have to do the bottom. Tiger orange again. And the gray. Okay, all done. All right. So the dock area and landing pads is complete. So Commander Kenti will have he's got his work all cut out for him, but at least he's got this outer area done, and the platform is armed. So he should be reasonably safe from pirates. But either way, it's going to be kind of interesting. So, having said that, I think we'll cut off the episode here, even though I ended up quite a few more minutes than I had intended. So this is Kenti Tiger signing off, and we will see you next time.